Are you crazy or are you just mad?
Hello, 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 hello! Welcome to the Mad Musicians Against Depression podcast, where we discuss the latest news, research and hot topics surrounding mental health. I'm Thomas Maher and I'm joined in studio by my beautiful co-host, award-winning singer, songwriter and presenter, Indiraa. Indiraa. Where have we been?
Thomas.
The tank engine. Where have we been? People are wondering where we've been, so I need to and explain ourselves. Where have we been?
I have been hurt, injured, and physically and mentally out of it because of my injuries, and in and out of hospitals due to operations. And so have you been for tests, all sorts of tests, isn't it?
All sorts of stuff has been happening, folks. I know we had some emails in saying where was the last show, and we didn't get around to recording it, and we didn't even have time to make up any excuses or any.
Well, I can make it up now. Actually, I was invited to Buckingham Palace.
Well, we heard that story before, which is true. You were invited to Buckingham.
Yeah, I was, but that was like.
So you want to use the same
3 years ago, but I'm trying it again.
Okay, no, the truth is, Indira's had some problems. I think the last show, she fell over. She had a pretty bad accident, and she had carpal tunnel surgery, and she had other things going on. And in the meantime, I smashed my Apple Mac Pro in the studio, smashed the whole screen. I was not able to access any of my data. Silly me, I had everything logged on the thing without backing it up, so I was not able to do anything. But that's no excuse, so I have to slap myself in the hand for that. Plus the fact I've actually been out of hospital myself. I've got a lot of tests going on, and I've got surgery coming up next week, and it's all happening. So
I think I'd like to interrupt here for one reason.
Okay.
Thomas has done something we all have to take on board, which is every now and again in your life, press the reset button as to how you're feeling physically. If there are any injuries, anything like even stomach issues, back issues, anything, get checked, right from blood tests to everything, because it's amazing how we neglect ourselves and then all of a sudden it hits you with everything. Yeah. So I didn't mean to interrupt you, but I think I wanted to tell all our listeners that it's very important at any stage of your life, and more so as you get older, to keep an eye on how things are physically.
For sure. Yeah, I'm going through a period in my life where I have to address a lot of issues that I've probably neglected over the years. It's true to say that I probably have had a wild and reckless childhood and teenage years and into my 20s, where I've had a lot of injuries and done a lot of things where I shouldn't have done and neglected stuff, and paying for it now. But I am quick to act. Anytime I notice something I needs doing, I do flag it, and thankfully I'm on top of things. But yeah, it's never too late, to address problems, and you just have to get it to speak up, talk about your problems as soon as they go. And mine are all physical at the moment, but nonetheless, it's still problematic. So I am taking my first step. I've got surgery Tuesday for a left inguinal hernia, which I had a right inguinal hernia operation in the 90s. Now I've got a left. I have an impingement in my neck, which probably also has arthritic
same as me.
Degradation of so that's going to need probably surgery down the line. I've also got 2 impending hip surgeries coming up.
That's right.
And yesterday I was in hospital because I had a blood clot due to varicose vein on the right leg, which I'm going in tomorrow to have scans, and that's going to have to be done. And I've also got a lower back problem, which I've had all my life, from my early days of Thai boxing, when I had a lot of injuries and neglected things. I've had a deformative disc, which needs to be probably operated on down the line. But no, step by step.
Yeah,
I'm getting things sorted.
So why I think it's important he mentions all of them is how cumulative these things can get, and how we don't actually realize they're getting that way. With me and years of tennis, I knew I had a problem with my neck, and years of knowing arthritis was catching up, but I neglected it. Now I'm going to need 2 surgeries in one hand.
Yeah, that's it.
One on my neck.
But at least it's corrective, and it's going to make you better in the long run.
Well, it's good for you because Thomas being a lot younger than me, it's much safer for him to have his neck and spinal surgery, whereas with me, they've told me I'm far more at risk, and so they'd rather not do it unless they have to. Because, you don't want to be pushing me around on a wheelchair.
No, Tom. I do. Actually, I do. I told you a long time ago.
You just want to push me off a cliff. That's just not
off a cliff. I want a hybrid wheelchair that I've got control of. That sounds like a high performance wheelchair.
So when I want to go left, you take me
right. Exactly. And when you want to go forward, I send you backwards. Yeah.
I've been backward all my life.
Not going forward, though. Oh. So yes, folks. Yes. So that's why we've had. That's why we've been we missed a couple of shows and we didn't get a chance to do anything. It's been hectic, and to be honest with you, it's even pushed to even get this episode done. But I think we're okay now. We've got things sorted.
That is right.
We've got things sorted. My laptop's been repaired at very expensive £720 to repair a bloody screen on an iMac, or not an iMac, Mac Pro. Bloody hell, man.
You're getting a new one at Christmas?
Getting a new one at Christmas, yes, I am. So that's really good. And I'm getting myself repaired, which is most important.
That's right.
Yeah, overtime. The doctor said to me, he said, wow, when I went to see him yesterday, he said, wow, he said, you've had a lot of things go wrong with you recently, and you've had a lot of surgery in the past. He said, I said, look, I'd rather have everything come at once than have it drip fed to me. I said, I'm better deal with it. The way it is now, I'm happy to do it. Just get everything sorted at once. So that's just me, Hit me with it. And
why not?
Hit me with it. Let me deal with it. Exactly.
Necessary.
Yeah. Take it all on. I can handle it. And that's it. That's what the system is there for. You got to know how to use it.
I think this is also an interesting way of handling our podcasts, is to now and then just do one little reading each and then talk. Because I know people, when they listen to us talking, rather a whole load of facts and stuff to remember, this is how you get to this point, or this is how it's actually becomes more personal when you say, well, I had this wrong, that wrong, and I went and got this, found out I had this. It becomes more personal, and people probably remember it, rather than saying physical health is a very important thing and one has to, at this stage of their life, do blah, 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 blah. You wouldn't remember it.
You're absolutely right. But I hope we don't have something to talk about every show, that we've got something physical wrong
Not
with us.
Physically. I'm talking about in any sense of the word, to sort of give time to also, and perhaps if people write in and tell us certain things that they have, maybe we could discuss those sort of things, or pertinent articles, obviously.
Yeah.
And you can call yourself Mr. X or whatever, and we can refer to it as, regarding your problem, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
What do you think?
Don't forget, I think I agree with you. We want people to write in messages and say whatever they want to say, open up.
And ask them what they want to hear about.
Yeah, of course.
We can do the research and we can talk about personal or other people we know without obviously saying anything. Situations in similar places, isn't it?
Yeah. I know who Mr. X is. It's Elon Musk, isn't it?
Elon Musk.
Elon Musk.
I can't stand him.
He's an idiot. Ego. The ego's taken over his brain.
Ego Musk.
Ego Musk, yeah. I never liked Musk as an aftershave anyway, so.
Oh, yeah, it's quite strong.
Yeah.
It's the pouch of the deer, isn't it? That they release Musk to get the partner to get, happy.
Is that why he interviewed Trump?
That's why Musk uses Trump, yeah, probably. Or trunk, as the case may be.
Trunk, yeah. Okay,
yikes.
folks, we've obviously, that's not for the waffle for now, but we've done our chat GPT and we've summarised our articles. Still not sure about this thing, but anyway, summarises it, but it really summarises it.
Yeah, it kind of really summarises it.
So when the clock changes, it's going to winterise it?
Yeah.
Or automise
it. Automise it.
Yes.
Yeah.
There we go. We're bloody funny, we are.
We're very funny.
All right. So today we have stress management guide, and we have gratitude guide, and we have whatever you got there. What else you got? Something
let me see now. What have I got? Well-being,
and we've got a UFO story, and we've got.
Hey, there's a new UFO show on TV.
I know there is. And did you see the breaking news about the Vatican?
Yes, you sent it to me.
Yes, exactly.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, they have documented proof of alien crafts and alien beings. Documented proof nonetheless.
Yeah,
Straight
they called all the people in charge the heads of the Vatican. They're all aliens.
They charred the heads of them.
No, they are in charge.
Or they're in charge.
Yeah.
Well, people would say like lizards.
Oh yeah, let's not go there.
They're lizards. Yeah, let's not go there. Indiraa, what have you got for me today? Tell me. You've got an article on what?
Well-being explained by a neuroscientist.
So let's have it. Tell me about it.
Okay, neuroscientist. Now her name is amazing, by the way, guys. Neuroscientist Mary Helen Imordino Yang explains that well-being extends beyond the absence of illness and involves achieving a balance of flexibility to manage yourself. Now, well-being is both a state and a capacity cultivated through actions and your mindset. So, key strategies include prioritizing quality relationships, regulating social media use, that's 2. 3, engaging in enjoyable activities, and embracing discomfort and a growth opportunity. Well-being is about creating meaningful experiences and connections rather than merely pursuing positive moments. So just to recap the things, it's in prioritizing your quality relationships, regulating less social media, engaging in enjoyable activities, embracing discomfort as a growth opportunity, and it's about creating meaningful experiences and connections rather than being in pursuit of a positive moment. There you go.
But a lot of these articles that we obviously talk about and publicise and give links to, they all kind of mention, they're very similar. They come back to social media is a big part of every article.
Every article, it has a
huge.
Lack of sleep, cut down your social media, blah, blah, blah. Self-image, cut down your social media.
Social media's got a lot to answer for with mental health.
I mean, if the listeners have people between the ages of 10, kids between 10 and 16, I believe, social media about self-image can be really bad due to all the filters, the this, the that they use, and then when they look at themselves in the mirror, they can't handle what they actually see.
Yes, I think obviously you've got poor self-image, and reality is that they see a different version of themselves to what they actually believe, what they actually aspire to be. And that's what social media, particularly like TikTok and what's the
I tell you, it's really weird what self-image is like, because lately I've been off exercise for a month due to my injuries, and I've started again. And
did you say you farted again?
I started again.
Oh,
and
sorry.
I've got to say that every time I look in the mirror now, I see myself as 5 times my size, and I know I've not gained, I marginally, if at all, gained weight. And not that most people can tell, but for me, I see a monster in front of me. Isn't that bad?
Well, because that's the perception you have only because you've stopped training.
Exactly.
That's the belief. Your belief of that you've stopped training is obviously a perception that you've obviously gained weight. And this is why youngsters have the same problem.
It's really bad, and that's why you land up with extreme situations as well.
Yeah, it's a perception. Take it to the extreme. Yeah, I know. It's a bad thing. Well, like I say, social media. And Elton John. What's his name? Musk? Mr.
Elon
X.
Musk.
Elon Musk. Yeah, Elon Musk. Yeah. X, yeah. X, Mr.
Not
X.
Tinder or whatever.
Mr.
No, it's
X.
Tinder. I said, oh God. Twitter.
Tinder, you've been spending too much time on Tinder. I think that's the problem.
I've never gone on any dating website. I'm a good old married woman.
You are, yeah.
Old being the operative word.
Let's move on. Now, I've got a stress management guide summarised. Okay. This article from the Big Think, hosted on Apple News, discusses a guide by Harvard physician on how to retrain your brain's response to stress. The guide emphasizes techniques for managing stress more effectively, potentially enhancing mental well-being and overall health. It covers strategies such as mindfulness, cognitive restructuring, and other practices aimed at reducing the impact of stressors on the brain. The aim is to help individuals develop healthy responses to stress, improving both mental and physical health outcomes. for more information, you can click on the link that I will provide on the show notes. How about that? So it's called the Stress Management Guide. Anyone who's interested in stress management, click on that link on the show notes. What do you think of that?
Good.
We can't really comment too much because there's not a lot of information there, is there?
Yeah.
It's a summary.
It's a summary.
It's a summary, so it is. And it is very summary, I must say.
What is your opinion on Matthew Perry's suicide, or murder, sorry, I beg your pardon, murder by ketamine? Well,
I suppose it's probably the second degree murder. It's facilitated murder if you think about it, isn't it? Because, he was given...
He didn't know he was being killed. So it is first degree murder.
So how you look at it, isn't it? I don't think did the people intend to kill him either. So that's from their point of view.
Well, they knew they'd given him a vial on that day, and then the supplier, the doctor, gave him another vial for the next day, gave it to the guy his live-in carer, a friend, to give it to him the next day, knowing it would have been too much.
Yeah.
And they sold him vials worth $12 at $2,000 a vial.
Yeah. I wouldn't say they deliberately killed him, but I think it's highly irresponsible. They caused his death, and I think they should serve a similar time anyway. I wouldn't call it murder. I think I would call it facilitated murder.
The lady they called the ketamine queen or whatever, when they raided her house, they said it was like a warehouse of drugs.
I mean, if you give somebody enough drugs, you're putting a loaded gun in their hand. It's like Russian roulette. But
1 year ago, she watched a young guy overdose on the same thing. I mean, kill himself with the same thing. So she knew what she was doing.
So basically, I don't know much about this ketamine queen, but I've seen obviously in the paper her name mentioned. So obviously she's known to the authorities as a drug dealer. She's a class A drug dealer. How has it taken them so long to flag her? Or
how many people is she supplying in high places?
Exactly. So
maybe they didn't want to catch her.
So who knows? I mean, obviously she's been a kingpin in this whole thing.
Well, now she's going to do hard time.
She's going to do some serious time.
Yeah.
She may never even get out.
She may not.
She may never even get out. And I think, for any doctor or anyone in a position of authority or power to do that, if someone's preying on the vulnerable person.
Well, he's very vulnerable. He was an addict. He was an addict to everything. The ketamine was used by doctors in a responsible way, and he got addicted to it because he gets addicted to everything by his nature. And then he started getting it by illegal means because physicians refused to give it to him. And why I was bringing this up is the fact that these things are meant to, medicine in a small dose is meant to cure you. In the wrong dose, it'll kill you. And it's what you choose to do with medication.
It's the same thing. It's the same. Sleeping tablets or aspirin or ibuprofen. You take anything in massive quantities, it's going to kill you.
Yeah, it's terrible.
If you're not obviously...
And the fact that they said, how much could we stitch this moron for? How much do you think this moron is going to... how much can we sell this moron in the end anyway?
That's terrible.
They referred to him and it was on the news as quote unquote, how much can we stitch this moron up for?
Yeah, well, those words are going to haunt them for the rest of their lives. When you're sitting in their cells doing hard time,
and imagine that. Words. And the person was considered a very helpless, kind, caring person to everybody.
I read that as also, yeah.
Yep.
I did read that.
Oh, well.
No, it's very sad. That's the world we live in.
But I just wanted people to know there are different kinds of ketamine and not to mix them up and feel that, something that's good for your treatment is something you use to blow your brains out. It's not.
Well, of course, and if you take anything in high doses, like we say, it's going to have a detrimental effect on you.
But it was also the kind of ketamine
alcohol as well
that they were given. Yeah,
of course. I mean, he was under supervision. He was getting medically supervised doses of ketamine for his depression to treat that. That was under supervision.
But they were injecting, and they were saying that under supervision. I think it was something like injecting followed by milder stuff, under supervision.
Yes, it's all under supervision. And the thing is, it was working for him. And why did he reach out for ketamine? Because obviously he realized it was making him feel good.
Yeah.
So he wanted the feel good factor. He wanted probably more of that feel good factor. He wanted higher doses, probably to treat himself. He was self-medicating on it. And that's the problem when you take any kind of drug that makes you feel good. If you add to it, if you keep topping up higher doses on top, you're going to need more and more and more of it. And
it's like alcohol. Your first glass is a self-medication. The second glass is a depressant, as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. No, his case is very, very sad, and I think it resonates with a lot of people in any kind of society, because whether you're depressed, not depressed, or whether you're whatever industry you work in, his story is just like, it's very, very sad, because obviously he's very, very well known for his role in Friends.
Yeah.
His character was fantastic. And then when you obviously look into his personal life, he was demonized inside. You know, he had a lot of demons inside. He was a tortured soul. And for people to take advantage of that just for money.
That's disgusting. Even
though they didn't mean to kill him, I think they need to serve some serious time for that. They were shocking.
Shocking. They did have a half incident just before that when his blood pressure went up high and blah, blah, blah. And they said, oh, we better not do that again.
God.
So that's a warning in itself.
So irresponsible.
If you almost kill someone and say, oop, we better not try this one again.
There's just no regard for human life, is it? It's very sad. That's what it is.
But they also killed the goose that laid the golden egg. Somebody was... Anyway, my next one...
What is your next one, by the way?
Yeah, is how to practice gratitude.
Okay.
Gratitude. So... do you look at your glass half full or half empty? So one thing they say is that, I'm going to concise this in my own words.
Please do.
The problems with researchers are saying could be in positive influences on your mental perspective. If you practice gratitude, your mental perspective, obviously, cardiovascular disease is also affected by how you feel about, your highs and lows. It had general aging, healthy aging. Understanding gratitude psychologically, what is it, for a start? Live, love better. And it's a profound feeling that when you genuinely experience it, fills you up with love. Love is the most powerful emotion. It's capable of healing your mind, body, and your spirit.
Indeed.
So that is very important to remember. How do you embrace your gratitude? How do you embrace love? It's the strongest immune system you can ever have, is gratitude, basically.
Nice.
And benefits of practicing it is to live longer, to be happier, and change how you look and interact with people. When you interact, imagine interacting fantastically with your siblings, your children, your friends, your partners. And instead of complaining about your work, to really want to go to work, be happy when you go to work, rather than be miserable. And, not getting up saying good God, it's morning, but saying good morning, God.
Yeah.
Not to feel your heart beating and your pressure rising. So how are you going to do this? There are different ways. You can keep a gratitude journal. As you all know, I don't believe in that, but there you go. Then morning gratitude is just in the morning, think of all the good things in the day, that thank for the day. And I always say thank you for this, and last thing at night, thank you for the day. For it's thank you for keeping me on path, keeping me doing all the right things. So thank you at the end of the day. Beginning of the day, I say, help me through this.
Yeah.
I don't want to falter. So, give me that strength. So switch your mindset. Every time you think you're going to complain, try and change it. Just in a stupid analogy, I could say that, okay, the bread is slightly dry today. Well, thankfully I have butter in the fridge. It's just change your mindset a bit. Take note of challenges. When you confront a situation, just put it down to a challenge and say, let me see if I can do this.
Yeah.
Don't say, damn, I've come across this. And have a gratitude jar. Write down all the good things that you've been grateful for, and read it later whenever you need a boost. And on practice on things and focus on things that make you grateful. Train your mind to look for the things that make you grateful and make your mindset more naturally positive and optimistic.
Lovely. That's very nice.
Yeah, I put most of it in my own words, so I should have written an article anyway.
You should have had, really. Yeah, exactly. Well done. You summarised it yourself.
Underneath is 5 best-selling M&S bras, if anyone's interested.
Have you summarised that one as well, have you?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah, I have, yeah.
Should we
summarised it to 32D.
32D. Should we include that in the show notes as well?
Yeah, I think
Anyone's interested? So yeah, gratitude is good. And the beautiful thing about gratitude is when it comes natural at the end of it all. Because obviously a lot of people don't have gratitude, you know, and some people have it naturally. And there's some people who obviously practice it, and it's one of those things that it comes from childhood, really. It comes from your childhood, your adolescent years, how you were brought up. I mean, I know from a kid, I was if I didn't say please, thank you, or whatever, I'd get a right slapping.
Same as me. Today I had to correct somebody in my house, a little kid. With every line I had to say, and you have to say, she'd say please, because I was giving her little bits and pieces, letting her choose her own ice cream, and every time I'd say, and the word is, the first time I said, and what is the magic word you have to use? She said, I don't know.
Oh dear.
Oh dear.
Yeah.
But I have to say, Thomas, every time you get up from the table every night, and I cook dinner every night for everyone at the farm, or we get something in, my husband and I, but we always make sure everyone has a nice meal and together. And Tom always gets up and says, thank you very much for a lovely dinner. He gives me a kiss on the forehead and said, this and this was lovely today. And I always feel it's worth making the effort.
Mm-hmm. Of course. It makes you feel special. It makes you feel what you've done is worthwhile and it's appreciated. And it's genuine, you know. The thing is, if somebody's putting them out for you, the very least you can do, and it's very important, it's probably the most important thing you could do, is just say thank you.
Doesn't kill you.
It doesn't, it costs nothing, and it makes yourself feel good.
But I find it shocking that it's not part of people's daily speech. You have to tell them to say it.
But what schools have an etiquette curriculum?
I don't.
On how to behave.
It's crazy.
I mean, we learned it the hard way. We learned it by getting beaten up by. I went to a Christian butter
thing, yeah.
I went to a Christian butter school, and we learned it in a different way. But obviously, you can't do it these days. But you should have an etiquette curriculum in school about how to behave.
I'll tell
Manners.
you, I went to a convent, right, in India, St. Joseph's, and we had a thing called the calendar every day, which was a book, the year thing that you write everything every day, had its page, and it was called our calendar.
Yeah.
And the first page, this is very interesting, it was called Little Things That Matter Much.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
And it had about 30 things. And we used to laugh because we thought...
There's a book. You're talking about the book?
No, this was in our calendar.
Yeah, well, there's a book.
No, and this was like when growing up.
But it's probably the same thing.
Yeah, and it was Little Things That Matter Much. And it was say good morning, thank God for this, thank the people around you for that. And someone is giving you something, what do you say? And you have made a mistake, what do you say? Sorry. And these were all in our things to remember. Yeah. And we were told to read it on Monday mornings. So everyone would stand up and say, 1, say thank you to people when they've done something for you. 2, you stand up and say it. 3, 4. Yeah. So every Monday morning, no matter how old you were, whether you were 10 or you were 14, you still had to do it on Monday mornings.
Yeah. And
I quite liked it.
Of course, it's a beautiful thing.
Yeah.
Look, people, if you've got manners, if you've got etiquette, you're going to go a long way in life.
Yeah.
Because people will appreciate that. They will respect that. If you don't respect people, and if you want to climb that, if you want to be successful in life, okay, you can do it 2 ways. You can do it the really nasty way and step on people's heads to get there, but it doesn't get you anywhere at the end. Where do you end up? But if you're a nice person, people will always be willing to put themselves out to help you.
I also feel that
manners counts for a hell of a lot.
Yeah, like people say, oh, cool man, no worries. And when someone does something for you, no worries. But I think it's so much nicer when you tell someone, hey, you're welcome.
Yeah, of course. Of course.
You're always welcome, you know.
Oh, sorry, no, it wasn't your fault. It was my fault. Taking accountability for yourself, you know. All these things matter greatly. Okay, so now we're going to play a track, and it's very relevant to anybody who's finding it hard to give it up. This is a song from a band that's originally from my not hometown, but my home country, Ireland, a band called Tin Lizzy. And it's a track called Gotta Give It Up by Phil Lynott.
Got to give it up. I've got to give it up. That's true. I've got to give it up. I've got to give it up. That's true. Tell my mama and tell my pa that their fine young son didn't get far. He made it to the end of a battle, sitting in a sleazy bar. He tried hard, but his spirit broke. He tried until he nearly choked. In the end, he lost his battle, drinking alcohol. Got to give it up. I got to give it up. That's tough. Got to give it up. I got to give it up. That's tough. Tell my brother I tried to write. I put pen to paper, but I was frightened. I couldn't seem to get the words out right. Quite right. Tell my sister I'm sinking slow. Now and then I powder my nose. But in the end I lost my bottle. It smashed in a Casbah. Got to give it up. I got to give it up. That's tough. Got to give it up. I got to give it up. That's tough. With the heavy stuff. For a time I couldn't get enough, but I'm waking up and it's wearing off. Junk don't get you far. Tell my mama I'm coming home. And in my youth I'm getting old, and I think it's lost control. Mama, I'm coming home. You know what I'm talking about. Got to give it up. That stuff. Got to give it up. Got to give it up. That stuff. Got to give it up. Give it up. Got to give it up. That stuff.
Whoa, yeah. I gotta give it up. That stuff. It's tough.
It's very tough.
What lyrics? I've got to give it up. That stuff. It's tough.
Yeah.
That is brilliant. Phil Lynott, the man who died from obviously alcohol and drugs. Take it from him, he knows. Fantastic track. I love that track. Anyway, good. All right. So, we're going to nearing the end of our show. Should we do a UFO track?
I think we should.
Yeah? Let's see what I've got in store for
Oh, I
us.
love it when your voice goes so cute.
Let's see what I've got.
What have you got, Thomas?
I've got, oh my God, it says, let me put my glasses on to read this properly.
It does help, doesn't it?
Yeah. Hold on 1 sec now. Oh, I see it now. Oh. Warp drives, should I shout? Warp drives are possible and aliens may already be using them, scientists say. Well, of course they're possible if they're travelling millions of light years, you morons. Okay, if a warp drive explodes in deep space, will anybody hear it? Probably not, but new research suggests that humans could one day detect the ripples in space-time, such as a catastrophic would create, potentially aiding the search for alien life. Warp drives that enable spacecraft to travel at near light speeds are a fixture of science fiction, famously allowing Star Trek's Federation crew to boldly go where no one has gone before. Indeed it has.
Indeed
it has. But scientists have long theorised how a real-life warp drive might work, the most famous example being the Alcubierre drive. Okay. A design that Mexican physicist Miguel Albuquerque, PhD, put forth in 1994. This type of drive would form a bubble around travellers, contracting the space in front of it and expanding the space behind it to leap across the cosmos. In a preprint study posted online in June, a team of researchers hailing from the UK and Germany posed the question: if an alien civilization is using an Albuquerque drive, could we detect it by looking for the gravitational waves such as a system might emit? After all, the Pasadena, California-based LIGO lab, home to the world's largest gravitational wave observatory, can pick up the perturbations in space-time generated by highly energetic events like black hole mergers and supernovas. So why not alien technology? According to the researchers, calculations in this new work, which has not been peer-reviewed, they haven't given it to me basically.
Yeah.
Humanity really could pick up on signs of an alien warp drive, but only with new generation of gravitational wave observatories. Warp breach captain. Astrophysicist Katie Clough, PhD, and her co-authors came up with the idea of simulating a warp drive's gravitational wave signature 7 years ago. They were inspired by Star Trek. Well, hey, Captain Kirk, she says, and in particular by the occurrence of warp breaches in the show's universe. An Alcubierre drive, which theoretically would require negative energy, there's plenty of that out there these days, a repulsive gravitational force, we get that all the time when one particular person comes around, rather than an attractive one, and exotic forms of matter to work wouldn't greatly perturb space-time while operating correctly. Technically, even driving a car on Earth generates gravitational waves. Anything that accelerates does, but they're too small to be detected or have much of an effect on anything. But the waves that reach our planet from space are typically caused by violent events or the movements of massive objects. We know people like that.
Yes, we do.
Like a spinning neutron star. A malfunctioning Alcubierre drive would qualify too. If you put exotic matter into forming a warp bubble, it will naturally disperse over time. So, hypothetical aliens would need some kind of containment mechanism to keep it in place. And we don't know what that is, Clough explains. We said, well, in Star Trek, it always happens that you have a warp drive containment failure. So why don't we just go with this idea? In a warp drive containment breach, Clough says, all of the contained energy and matter would spill out and create the kind of messy oscillations that generate gravitational waves like someone splashing around in a pool. This would be, to say the least, unpleasant for the ship's occupants. I bet it would. You'd get stretched and squashed and ultimately it would be nasty, Clough says. Clough says the project seemed fun to the team at first, but that it quickly became very complicated. The main problem, Clough says, was choosing equations that both led to a stable evolution in the simulation and made physical sense. That accomplished, Clough's team found that a warp breach on a kilometre-sized ship travelling at 10% of the speed of light, 30 kilometres per second, would create a very distinct gravitational wave signal. It could be detected from up to 1 megaparsec away.
My God, this is going way above my head, literally. Or
3.26 million light years. Jesus. Meaning a warp drive collapse in Andromeda, the nearest galactic neighbour to the Milky Way, could be detectable on Earth. That's massive. Luke Sellers, PhD, lead scientist at Applied Physics, an independent research group based in New York City and Stockholm that has proposed its own warp drive designs and studied the search for alien life in gravitational wave signals, says the work from Clough's team is a welcome addition to the field. The study just makes sense, he says, particularly the insight that an Alcubierre drive could blow apart. Why not? If aliens crashed, then I guess it's correct, right? To assume that. One day, he said, we could have a menu of all these exotic SETI-type gravitational wave signals to look for, one of which might be a very large propulsive mechanism and one of which could be this warp drive explosion. The next generation. Definitely sounds like Star Trek.
It does, doesn't it?
Yeah. Assuming that aliens have figured out how to make an Alcubierre drive and one explodes within range of our observatories, there's still a problem. None of our existing detectors are equipped to pick up high-frequency gravitational waves. Gravitational waves detection is still a really new field, Clough says. It's really like the beginning of electronic magnetic observations, where we're just looking at one frequency band. Caltech and MIT's ground-based LIGO Observatory, for example, debuted in 2002 and eavesdrops on frequencies in the range of 10 Hz to 1 kHz. If a 1 kHz wave was sonified, it would sound like a high-pitched whining tone. That sounds like a night in Boreham Wood, to be honest with you. NASA and the European Space Agency plan space-based LISA Observatory, which is expected to launch in the 2030s, will listen in on even lower ranges. An exploding Alcubierre drive would emanate waves at a frequency of around 300 Hz, which is quite low, like a bass, which, if it was a sound, would be outside the range of human hearing. The reason for its initial focus on lower frequency bands, Clough says, is that there are high-frequency subjects and events in those ranges. There aren't many well-motivated astrophysical targets at those kinds of higher frequencies, she explains. There are some exotic things like primordial black holes or signals from the early universe, so there are proposals to try and build detectors in that range. This is another potential argument for building those detectors. Indeed, in 2021, a team of over 24 scientists from around the world, including institutions like LIGO and CERN, argued in a paper that observatories targeting high-frequency ranges will allow us to look for signs of novel physics in the early universe, for example. It stands to reason that you want to probe that vastness as much as possible if you want to have a chance to detect something, says Sellers, the scientist from Applied Physics. On top of the new detectors, a pipeline for SETI searches involving machine learning algorithms could be beneficial, he says. The paper's conclusions also come with some caveats. The work covers a very specific scenario with carefully chosen parameters, including the type of warp drive. It's an example and not the template to look for, Clough says. Still, her team expects that the frequency range of the gravitational waves would carry over to other designs. It could be the case that once we get these better detectors, there's really loud warp drive signals that you can see, even if you don't already know what you're looking for, Seller says. And if that happens, it is conceivable that we could actually reverse engineer what system they're using. Wow.
That was very heavy.
It's very, very, very heavy. Yeah, I think I need to go lie down after that. Whew,
yeah.
My God.
Either that or it's got my head spinning in space.
Yeah. You're always in space anyway. Headspace. But it's a very interesting article.
Yeah. I have to go over it properly where I can read it and take it in.
Yeah, well, and for anyone who wants to do the same with Indiraa, the link will be included in the show notes.
Oh, you're so cute when you do that little voice thing.
I am so cute. Yes, I am. I hope you've all enjoyed our show today, because today we have hit now the 45-minute mark. We've talked some waffle. We've given you some science. We've given you some...
Do you want a cup of tea?
Yeah, I think so. I think so.
Let's go have a cup of tea then.
Yeah. All right, folks, you were listening to the Mad Pod podcast, season 1, episode 20, with myself, Thomas Maher, and the wonderful Indiraa. Until the next time,
bye.
Well, folks, on that note, that's where we're going to leave it for today. Hope you've enjoyed the show as much as we have, and we look forward to bringing you more of the latest news and hot topics surrounding mental health on our next show. Remember, new episodes of the Mad Podcast drop every Sunday
at 6 p.m.
Episodes are available to listen to on Spotify, Apple Music, and of course, the Musicians Against Depression website, an online toolbox that contains a wealth of information, essential reading, and links relating to mental health. As always, if you or someone you know would like to join the conversation, either in studio or remotely, email us at musiciansagainstdepression@gmail.com or visit the MAD website at www.musiciansagainstdepression.uk for further info. All links, including social media, are provided in the show notes. And remember, no problem in life is insurmountable, and help is just a conversation away. Until the next time, from myself and the wonderful Indiraa,
Take care.